Hello, welcome to a new video. Today I am bringing you my 2023 stats, and 2023 was such a good year for me for reading again. Like, this is now the third year in a row that I've read 200 books in the year, and what's even better is that Ash is currently knitting me a ratings blanket. Obviously it isn't finished yet because I only finished my last book on the 31st of December, and knitting takes time and it's not the only thing she's doing, but I'm gonna have a ratings blanket and I'm so excited. So it only includes 2, 3, 4 and 5 stars because obviously I don't 1-star anything, and I'm not obviously going to include DNFs because I don't need to see that. But it's already huge because it's gonna be 200 books worth of blanket, but it's gonna be great. I'm gonna put pictures up on social media once it's finished, but it's gonna be great. But yeah, so stats. I have gone through my CAWPILE like charts and I've screenshot all the things I want to talk about. So I'm just gonna get stuck in because, you know, let's just get stuck in. So first up we have my star ratings. So I only had 5 2-stars, which is really good, 14 3-stars, which again is really good, 81 4-stars, which is insane, and then 100 5-stars. Like, I'm gonna be honest, so I actually thought I reread a lot more than I did. So I was like, oh, the 5 stars are just gonna be like the rereads and then a few extras. No, because of these 100 5-stars, only 35 of them were rereads. So I don't know why this chart isn't adding up, because my star ratings does add up. Who knows? But yeah, that is an insane amount of 5 stars. I do think a lot of it is I have got a hell of a lot better over the years at knowing what I'm gonna like and what I'm not gonna like, and DNFing stuff that I'm not enjoying. So I did actually DNF 9 books this month. I've not got it on any of the charts I've taken screenshots of, but 9 books I've DNF'd. So if we look at my pages read per month, you will see November. I don't know what happened in November. Apparently I read a lot, even though it wasn't the most amount of books I've read, which is weird. But I read a total of 72,484 pages, which is so many pages, and it's more than last year, because last year I remember was like 69,000 because I laughed at 69. So I've read more pages this year than I did, like in 2023, than I did the year before, which is great. And May was like my least amount read, which baffles me because I thought I'd read quite a lot in May, but clearly I didn't. And then I've been reading a lot of audiobooks recently, like a lot more than usual. So this is my hours listened. Again, November. What was I okay? 89.5 hours. What? And again, May wasn't my least amount listened. February was at only 22 hours. But I listen to a lot of audiobooks now. Like in total, in 2023, I listened to 551.5 hours. What? I don't understand. So I spent almost 23 days listening, if you added it all up. Like, that is ridiculous. I love that. So yeah, if you look at my reading methods, audiobook only was 9.5%, and that was 20. I listened to only the audiobook. Physical only was 46, that was 21.8%. I have not been reading much physical lately unless I've had the audiobook, and I want to change that again, but at the same time I'm not going to push myself. ebooks was 49, so it was 23.2%. This is a lot. I read a lot of e-arcs. I read a lot of volumes of things. So like Attack on Titan, I read 3 volumes of that, and they were all on Kindle Unlimited. I read like Wicked and the Divine, that was all on Kindle Unlimited or Scribd. So I've been reading a fair amount of ebooks only, and then 96 of them, like 45.5, was mixed media, which basically means I had the audiobook along with either the physical or ebook, so it was like double reading, and this is clearly my preferred method of reading, which this is the reason I managed to read so much, because it helps me focus. If I have it on if I have it here and I'm reading, it helps me focus better and I take it in better, which is why I get through much more. So yeah. And then if we look at the age category, I am still reading mostly young adult, which I didn't think I was. So middle grade is not my least. So I only read, is that 6 or 8? That's 6. I only read 6 middle grade. So 2.8% is middle grade, but my least was new adult at 0.9%. I don't tend to categorize stuff as new adult, so I don't know why I have, because I would count that as adult, but here we are. And then adult was only 42.2%, whereas young adult was 53.1%. Over half of what I read last year was young adult, and I didn't think I was still reading that much young adult. I do think a lot of it is getting through what I already own, because I don't want to just get rid of a lot of it. I have unhauled a lot that I'm no longer interested in, but there is still a lot that I'm still interested in, so I've been trying to like get through those books, and not in a bad way. Like, I'm enjoying my time, clearly, because I had 105 stars. But yeah, I genuinely thought I had read more adult this year. This is why I like doing these stats, because I get to see these things. And then if we look at how I got it, I am really happy with this number, because I read like 117, which is over half, it's 55.5% of books I already owned. Yes, some of them were rereads, but that is not the point. I'm getting through my books, and that is proof because my spreadsheet where I've got all the books I own, I've got over 1,000 books, and I'm now under 400 books unread. So I'm very happy with that. Very happy. That was my kind of goal for last year, to get it under 400, and I did it. But then also I got a lot from the library last year. Like, I'm trying to utilize my library more, because support libraries. I borrowed books from friends, mostly Ash, but also I did borrow some books from other people. I'm getting through some of the books I've been gifted as well, which counts as my owned. That goes in with my owned, so really my owned is more than 55.5, because gifted is included in that. But I want to get through the books that I've been gifted, because there was a reason they got put on my wish list and that people bought them for me. So I'm trying to get through those as well, and I'm getting better at that, clearly. And then ARCs are 7.1% of what I read last year was ARCs. Like, I'm getting through my NetGalley. I'm very slowly getting through my NetGalley. I don't actually know how much I have still on my NetGalley. I've been really good at not just requesting stuff. Like, I'm being a lot better at not requesting stuff unless I absolutely need it. I now only have 30 books on my NetGalley, which is a really good, like, amount I've got down. There are a few here that I will definitely be getting to this year. Hopefully I get to all of them this year, but I'm not going to put that pressure on myself. Even if I can get through half of these, which would put me on the same level as 2023, because I read 15 ARCs in 2023. However, I do also have a few physical ARCs that I would like to get to as well, that I won at Yalc, which 2 of which are actually on my January TBR. But yeah, I'm really happy with this one. This is a really good pie chart for me. I'm happy. And then the final stat is, of course, genre. So this one has thrown me, because fantasy Now, I'm becoming more of a romance girly over a fantasy girly. However, 48.8% of what I read was fantasy, and romance only accounted for 18%. Like, also, can we appreciate I read like 6 horror books last year. If I say this year, just know I'm talking about 2023, because I'm still there. Mentally, I'm still there. I read a lot of sci-fi as well. I know dystopia is a separate one on here, but I like to count dystopia separately, because even though it is technically a subgenre of sci-fi, I count it as its own genre, which is why it's separate here. Contemporary there was a few contemporary, quite a few thrillers. I don't know where I read 7 thrillers. I don't know how that happened. And then adventure is mostly like middle grades that I've read, that don't come under like fantasy. They come under like just adventure. But yeah, fantasy is a lot higher now. So I actually had a look back at the previous year. So 2022, my fantasy was at 46.3%. And romance was at 20.6%. And I genuinely thought that was gonna keep like fantasy decreasing, romance increasing. But it's done the opposite. Fantasy's increased and romance has decreased. Like, again, this is why I like doing these stats video, because I love looking at these charts at the end of the year. I don't look at them throughout the year. I don't need to look at them throughout the year. But I love looking at them at the end of the year, because I'm like, wait, what? So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm actually really, really happy with how my year went. And then, of course, we have the Little Inkling Planner, which has the 2023 reading wrap up in general. I haven't filled all of this in. So my favourite book of the year was obviously Love Theoretically. Are we shocked? No. I haven't picked a favourite series because I finished a couple of series, but I don't know. But I haven't like read an entire series or a majority of a series last year. I just read like the last book in a series, so I don't really want to count any of those series. My favourite standalone was Spellbound. I could have used Love Theoretically, but let's mix it up a little bit. Favourite author was obviously Ali Hazelwood, because she brought out Love Theoretically and Check and Mate, and I absolutely loved both of them. Again, book cover, I said this last year. I've read 200 books. My brain cannot remember all the different book covers. Like, no, I don't know. I don't know what my favourite book cover of last year was. My favourite character, I've done 2. And it's Vex and Vax. Yes, I have become obsessed with Critical Role. I've been watching campaign 1 from like the beginning. And I'm 87 episodes in. And Vex and Vax are my favourite characters. And then I read that book and I was like, yes. I read the Vox Machina Origins as well. And still Vex and Vax. I don't really have a favourite setting or bookish world. Because, let's be real, it'd probably be a Sarah J Maas one, but I would not survive there, so no. My favourite movie of the year was, this is going to be no shock, Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. I went to see, this came out on my birthday at the cinema, so a group of us went to the cinema to see it on my birthday, and I just loved this so much. I've watched it a couple of times since, and the casting was great, the plot was great, and I just loved everything about it. It was just so much fun. And then my favourite TV show, I didn't say Critical Role. It's The Legend of Vox Machina though. I've rewatched it a couple of times since as well. It's just so good. Like, if you want to get into Critical Role but it is too daunting, which, fair, this is a great way of getting the story, and the characters are voiced by the people who created the characters in Critical Role. So Laura Bailey is Vex, Liam O'Brien is Vax. Like, it's just great. It's great. And there's 2 seasons, and the 3rd season's coming out hopefully this year. We'll see. Fingers crossed. And then place I visited, the only places I really visited this year was Edinburgh twice and then Finland once. And I'm going to say Finland because I love Finland so much. And we spent a few days at my friend's cottage, and it was just, it's beautiful there, and I just love it so much. So yeah, that was my stats for 2023. Let me know in the comments below how your 2023 went. Did you hit your reading goal? My reading goal was 80 books, as always. It's always 80. So I definitely hit mine because I read 200 books. But 80 is more just a placeholder because I know I can definitely hit that even on a slumpy year. So yeah. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.